It's tracking you now. Tracking your face.
It tracks me?
Your face.
Wow, are you filming?
Yeah.
All right. Hey guys, Steve here again. If you don't already know me, I say it every video, I think. I don't know. But anyways, we got this cool rig. It's leaving tomorrow morning, so I wanted to do a quick video. I got Mel behind the camera. You've seen us in our other videos. We're both usually in the video, but we're trying a new camera. This is a Nikon something. Instead of the action cameras, we thought it'd be cool. But before we get into this build, which is completely different from what we usually have on this channel, I want to let you guys know that Mel has designed a new merch line for us. So if you go to www.d3offroad.com, you can get in on the pre-orders. They are listed on there. You can order for the pre-order. They're at the supplier shirt maker factory currently. So we'll get them all in a couple weeks. And you can either pick them up if you're local, or we can ship them out, whichever you want. There's really cool designs. She worked hard on them. There's t-shirts, there's sweaters. We're also getting some hats in to see how they fit and how they wear. I'll wear them in the shop. So you'll see those in the future. And I think koozies, beer koozies. So if you order anything like GGB exhaust, or we're gonna have LED lights, a whole bunch of stuff, whatever you want off the website, you will get a koozie with your order as well, just as a thank you for supporting us. And another thing I was supposed to talk about, we're gonna offer from November 1st until New Year's, January 1st, is I'm gonna offer 20% off on all suspension rebuilds and tuning. So if you've got a Jeep, an Ultra 4, a side-by-side, an ATV, anything with a coilover, Fox, King, Radflow, ADS, you name it, I service it, I tune it, I rebuild it. We get iBox springs in, lots of different products. So shoot us an email at d3-offroad@outlook.com. All this stuff will be linked down below in the description, because you probably didn't have time to write it down. But shoot me an email. We can discuss how I can help you, meet your needs, get a better ride. If you're hitting jumps, hitting whoops, want a plush trail ride, comfy for the family, you name it. 20% off for the rest of 2023 until New Year's, starting next week, I think is November. So it's a wicked deal. But yeah. Wanted to get those out of the way and talk about this machine. So this is a buddy of ours, great customer, Nick. A lot of people know him as King Boss Quad. He lives a couple hours away up in Northern Ontario, Muskoka, Baysville area in Ontario. So he's coming to pick this up tomorrow morning, bright and early. So we really had to come in here tonight. We just went out for dinner, we're back. Doing this video for you guys to just go over everything I did and show you something a little different in the side-by-side world. Like, not everyone's into this, and some people, this is all that they're into. This is what I think I would consider a big mud bogging machine. You like to go in the skeg, in the mud, go to mud events, stuff like that. So this is what they're into. So I just wanted to go over the things that I worked on for him to help improve it for him, because he had a bunch of mechanical things that were wrong or could have been causing catastrophic failure in the future if they weren't addressed. And then we can just go over some of the things I've noticed that maybe you're gonna find this channel and come across this video and be like, you know what, I wanna get into this, and we'll just talk about some things I've seen that might help you out. So I think we'll start at the front end here. Pretty sure everything on this is a PATV is the company. They're out of, I believe, Texas. They built this wide, long travel wide kit to lift it up. It's got super ATV 8-inch portals on it. So it came in, this shaft was broken, and he's waiting on the warranty, so I didn't get to change the shaft yet. But this,
show them the wiggle.
This CV is missing all its cups and balls and everything. There's nothing left inside.
Has no
there.
balls?
It's lost its balls, babe.
Oh, darn.
The balls are gone.
Darn.
The magic smoke came out, so it no longer does anything. So a couple things that were wrong on the front end on this. So he had his coilovers so that the crossover rings were like all the way down at the bottom of the shock body. the tender spring on the top was just flopping around loose. This thing had a crazy Cali lean. The front end was jacked right up. The A-arms were on a huge angle. Could have been part of the issue with the CV going. Not too sure on that. His buddy ended up hitting some trees and jacking up a couple other parts on it. That's why it came down as well. But while it was here and I was working on setting the front suspension up, I realized that his front steering rack, which looks like it's a Hess Motorsports or some fancy rack, there's a clevis on here because it's heim joint, inner and outer, and the inner heim joints are in this clevis. It's like a C with an Allen key bolt down the middle, and they're really, really difficult to actually get those bolts installed correctly and tight. His were backing out, so those clevises were actually walking out of the steering rack gear and flopping around, causing tons of play in the steering, so these tires were flopping around. So I redid all that for him, torqued it all down, tightened it all up. And then the other thing, I'm really not happy with PATV's quality. The camera's probably not gonna pick it up because you need to have peripheral vision to look at both sides. It might pick it up, but I'm gonna doubt it. So you could call these your ball joints, your upper and lower ball joints. They're a rod end on this application. It's just a big heim joint or rod end. So these are just threaded tube inserts welded to a piece of tubing on all 4 ball joints, and all 4 of those pieces of tubing and threaded inserts are welded on random offset angles, and none of it is true and none of it is square. This one is jacked up right down on an angle and facing backwards. This one was down on an angle and they had to zip cut the tubing so it wouldn't hit the axle shaft compared to this side. So when you try and do an alignment on this thing, all his arms are different lengths and they're jacked up and on weird angles and nothing is square and nothing is right. So I'm really not a fan of this kit, or maybe it was a prototype. I have no idea. All I see is their logo and I see everything is not square and straight and I go, what is going on here? And the lowers had to be cranked way out and the uppers are bottomed out completely on the inside to get your camber set right. And because they were so far out, he was almost out of thread on the shank on the chrome style. So these are XMR style joints and they have a very short shank. So I replaced them with TMR Customs, also good friends of ours in Ontario. These are lifetime joints. They call them the lifetime joint because they're rebuildable. This red collar can come out, it unthreads, and inside there's a couple brass collars that are rebuildable and changeable, and then a stainless ball. So that's why they would say it's a lifetime joint, because you can rebuild it as many times as you want throughout the life of the vehicle. But the nice thing about this joint is the shank is about 1.5 inches longer, roughly, than these XMR chrome style joints. So when I was getting the alignment done and getting the camber correct, it still left enough thread inside this joint that I felt it was safe and it wasn't just gonna rip the thing out and destroy his weekend and break a whole bunch of parts when it happened. So while it was here, we changed out both the lowers because there's a lot of thread showing on them. You really don't want that much, but with the long shank, that works, it's all good. The uppers are bottomed out completely. The camber's good, the toe is good. The rack is tight, so we got all that buttoned up.
Everyone likes a tight rack.
Everyone likes a nice tight rack, yep, that's good. So Nick will be happy with all of that. And then on the rear of the vehicle, we didn't do much on the inside. On the rear of the vehicle, the other issue he was having was he had these, I believe they're Super ATV, he told me. I don't exactly remember. So this little clamp would go on this portal, portal plate, I guess. It's not the portal, it's just what the portal mounts to. It would go here for this tie rod link. So on the Can-Ams, they have 3 links. The upper and lower link is for your camber. So that'd be your tire leaning in, tire leaning out. This middle link is for the toe. So the front of the tire in, the front of the tire out. So they control the tire as it goes through the sweep of the suspension. As this thing moves, those arms are gonna dictate what's happening to the tire. So this little bracket that they claim on their website puts the toe link into double shear. And double shear is when you have a bolt going through here. If it was single shear, this plate would not be here, and the bolt could bend off of this plane up here. So they wrap this around. But it's not a true double shear because there's nothing supporting this except for that bolt. So the bolt is still in single shear. And what happened was The other one's gone. It just broke right off him. It's in the swamp somewhere. This was the other side that was loose because the bolt was bent but not completely broke. So I ditched this. This isn't even 1/8 thick steel. It's probably China steel too, so it's just no good at all. And I made up some 1/4 inch steel, laser cut, welded, and then I overlaid the 1/4 inch with a 3/16 teardrop washer. So we doubled up the thickness, almost 3/16 in 1/4. And then I drilled out this plate and upped it from an M12 to a 1/2 inch, and I upped it to grade 8 zinc coated with a stover, fine thread lock nut, and I got longer bolts than needed, and I shortened them down so the shank is the full length, so you're not going to shear off on the threads. This is probably 200% stronger than what this was originally, so he's not going to have an issue there again. The next thing he's going to end up breaking is ripping all this factory frame apart. I also welded up and beefed up this for him as much as I could for what it is. These holes in this plate were all jacked up and cracked and hollowed. So I redid all of that. And this PATV kit had hollow steel bars back here. They were black metal bars. So I got rid of those, and these are solid 1.5" 70/75 aircraft aluminum. This is what you put on like Ultra 4s, top of the line race cars. 70/75 seems to be rare in the side-by-side world. Big in the race car world. Most of the stuff I see for side-by-sides is 6000 series aluminum, not 70/75. So it costs more, but it's a lot stronger. It has way better memory, so that bar can bend a couple inches and spring back. I don't think he will ever damage them on this machine.
It would be impressive if he did.
I will warranty that bar for life. If he damages that bar
You hear that,
and
Nick?
not this plate or the factory frame or these bolts, he's going to destroy bolts and he's going to destroy factory sheet. Like this is like 1 millimeter thick sheet metal. These Can-Ams, like this is the thinnest stuff on any of the side-by-sides on the market. I can almost bend that with my hands, and the tubing is that. These rivets hold this well, like all this stuff is so thin, it's so chintzy, that bar is not gonna bend. So I'm not concerned about that at all. He's good to go. Put the strongest bars on there, some new XMR joints in the back end. So all the suspension is dialed in, ready to go. It's a lot tougher than it was. Pretty happy with all that. And the last thing that he asked me to do while it was here was these strip, I don't know what you call them. I think he calls them portal lights. This isn't my scene. I don't really know what the terms are for these guys and what they call their mods. I wouldn't put that on my machine, so I'm not up on the lingo.
But it's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So I put this switch up here for them and it turns them on, and they're crazy bright.
I think that's sick.
And they light up the rims and they look cool, so you're cruising down the trail. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So we wired all those up. And I think that was everything that I had to fix on this machine for him. So, a couple things. If I was getting into this market and this was the type of toy I wanted to play with, some things that I've learned while working on this that I think would be important for guys looking to get into this. Excuse me. I pay a lot of attention to the lift kit. There's a few companies now that I'm doing my research on these and looking at them, coming from bigger stuff like Jeeps and Ultra 4s and seeing how these guys are making this stuff. Be careful who you give your money to build you your lift kit. Looking into your portals, there's a few different styles. There's a dual idler, there's the GDP performance, single idler. Depends on how big the portal is, how wide it is, the loads you're trying to do with it. And then the tires, they carve. These are like tractor tires, and they carve all of the main rubber down. Like you can see the belts in spots. And I was blown away. I thought that these tires would weigh a lot. Like this is a big tire. This is like a 46-inch roughly tire. Like this is a tall ass tire. And you look at it and you're like, that's got to weigh 150 pounds or something, like the weight of a person to pick that up. You can pick this up with two hands like nothing, because all the rubber has been shaved off it. It's really, really thin. It's really light, so that's important. And I don't know if it's a common thing, but the machines that I've had come from his shop, all of them, the suspension is just cranked. They're riding around with their limit straps tight, so full droop is ride height and all your angles are crazy steep. You can't set machines up like that. If you're trying to get this thing higher, then you need bigger portals, or you need to drop the diffs down and do subframes and stuff. You can't be jacking your shocks right up. So that's something you need to keep an eye on. And then a trick for everyone at home that I do is I put these paint markers, these witness marks on all the hardware so that you can easily walk around after a ride and see if anything's come loose. Because anyone who rides knows that maintenance is crazy on any of your toy, whether you're desert, rock crawler, mud bogger, race car, maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. There's a lot of work to do with the maintenance. So that really makes it quick to walk around, check that out, see if anything's moved or came loose on you. Anything else I can think of? Keeps it different than anything, or tips? I think that about sums it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big machine. He's got tune and turbo, and I think it's on E85.
He's got a couple of these. Like, I don't think this is his, it's his dad's, isn't it?
I think this one was his, and now it's his dad's. He's got bigger ones. He's got lots of them.
You might have seen another one of his, what is it, a Commander in our... Defender, yeah. I don't know the names of them.
10 tires on the thing.
Yeah, in our Can-Am Maverick Sport review.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had it there. So he has a few of these he's brought to Steve to have fixed up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we did on this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're looking to get your shocks done over the winter in the next few months, 20% off. Don't forget, we'll put a link thing in the description. And the sweaters, the t-shirts, all that stuff, all the swag stuff is live on the website now. You can click to order your pre-order. It's not in yet. It will be in shortly. Maybe by the time the video's up. I don't know. But you can pre-order it and support the channel that way. Yep. So yeah.
Give us a like, give us a follow.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe. It really helps us with the algorithm to push us up so more people can find us. Because YouTube works that way, I guess. I don't know.
Something
so
like
yeah,
that.
like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, as we're getting into winter, we're going to be doing more shop content, less riding content.
Yeah.
So if there's anything you want to see or interested in learning or knowing or something you want us to cover, drop a comment below and maybe we can come up with a video for it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we got lots going on in the shop. Lots of shock
as you can
builds,
see.
lots of Jeep builds.
There's a new mezzanine bar, maybe a podcast spot, you know. Yeah, lots going on. And yeah, it's not only side-by-sides, it's also lots of Jeeps. So if you're a Jeep person, check us out.
Hit us up, yeah. Our Instagram is D3 Fabrications. We post a lot of stuff on Instagram.
Yep.
So if you're on Instagram, search D3 Fabrications. And yeah, hopefully this camera, I'm really excited to see how this camera works out.
We'll see. There's going to be some out of focus shots, but that's okay.
Who cares? Like, the DJIs that we used were really like wide angle. It was hard to zoom in and look at things. So I'm excited to see if this works better for us. For this type of content.
Yeah, and tell us what you think.
Yeah, if you guys think this worked out better, let us know, or we can go back to the DJIs.
Yeah, Dixie, what do you think?
She likes it.
Yeah.
So, thanks for watching. Till next time.